Good day, welcome to the Automotive Dad and welcome to the 2025 World Car of the Year, the Kia EV3. Now the EV3 can come in two battery types, either a 58.3 kilowatt hour battery or this one, the 81.4 kilowatt hour battery. The 81.4 gives you 370 miles of actual range. The cheapest low-end EV3 starts at £33,000, but this one is going to cost you more, like £40,000. This one's finished in sunset orange. It's an everyday do-everything family car, from a practical interior to a good-looking exterior. This is a car that Kia have thoroughly thought out, because not only is it affordable and stylish and good to drive with good range, it's perfectly suited to almost anything you ask it to do. So in this episode of the Automotive Dad, we're seeing just how family friendly the Kia EV3 is. Starting with a quirky front end, which not only looks unique and Kia in its design, but has the Kia lights that are going on everything. That Kia design, that aesthetic, is back with the EV3. Now these lights, intelligent LED, nice design. The whole front end looks good. Brushed aluminium design, going for the badge, and the front end just looks sleek, stylish, a little bit EVE, but everything's going that way. This is a very aerodynamic front end and it looks good. Sunset orange is a cool colour to have this car in. That interesting design doesn't stop at the front. It almost has an SUV-esque design about it by having this big black fender running down the side, nice lines. It's quite smooth, quite smoothed out nicely. The side design's cool. These door handles fold in and the rear door handles are hidden away up here. The side design is very cool. Now this one has 19-inch semi-diamond cut alloys, which really look cool. Slightly give me a bit of fear going towards curbs because you don't want to ruin them, but as designs go, really lovely. And finishing off with that kind of black detail that's going on with this being a GT, running to the back, the whole line flows out quite nice, and actually there's an additional line that flows out here into the rear quarter panel of the car, and it just looks well proportioned. It's not a small car by any means, but actually the design has made it look a lot smaller than it is, at least from a side point of view. Now the rear design is quite simplistic, quite basic really. In fact, it looks like a mini EV9, but it's a big area which has very minimal design but doesn't look entirely boring. The rear lights, light clusters, cool, nice entry and leaving display as you come in at night. Slightly cumbersome is opening the rear boot because it's all the way down here and your fingers do get a little bit dirty from road grime. Camera's kind of placed here, but the rear design, because it's a GT, not an Air, nice black styling packet, looks sporty, GTE. But the rear is cool. The general aesthetic of this car is nice. It's one of these cars that it looks really good in pictures, it really does, but in person it looks different, because the proportions are different when it all comes together in front of you. And I like it, but it's not for everyone. But as a general look, aesthetically, I think it's a really good job. It's a good looking car. Now, interior-wise, you step in and you're immediately greeted by nice design, sustainable materials, and a good amount of technology. Two 12.3-inch infotainment clusters in front of you, lovely materials going everywhere, and a good mix of buttons and not buttons, but there is a really good amount of actual buttons. This moves forward, you need to be practical on the go. There are chargers down here, there are cubby holes galore, there is so much space in this car, it's not even funny. It is so well thought out for cubby hole storage. It's just typically Kia, really. Family orientated, well thought out. From the driver's seat, the seat itself, very comfortable, very holding headrest. Nice to pop yourself back on if you're having a snooze when the kids are having a snooze. We'll do it. The steering wheel, nice design, actual buttons, easy to quickly learn and very quickly use. And everything's within reach. The actual position is good. You have good visibility. The mirrors offer blind spot monitors, at least on this GT, and your heated seat and heated steering wheel, at least on this side, are on the door in actual buttons, easy to get to, not within some kind of sub menu. For the passenger, again, on the door, but they don't have a heated steering wheel. If you want to change the temperature, actual buttons. Here, they look like actual buttons, but they're kind of like false buttons that give you haptic feedback, but they're not the traditional piano black, so they show fingerprints less, unlike the screen, which shows lots. The actual screen itself, the infotainment, good, easy to use. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you've got a wireless charger down here. Everything is pretty easy to use, even up to joining up to the app and connecting the car to it. The infotainment screen in front of you is adaptable, can show you all the information you need, and the front end's just well thought out. There's a good amount of headroom, it's spacious, it's very good. Now join me in the kids zone where the good continues. So the biggest thing to note about the rear kids zone is the fact that these doors open wide enough that you can get big car seats in and out easily. Then when it comes to the actual car seats themselves, ISOFIX in the rear, easy to use. Good amount of headroom, comfortable, nice wide seats. So if you had 3 of these kind of belted seats, you would actually probably be able to fit 3 in the back of this car. Where I've got a mix of ISOFIX and belted, not completely doable. But the rear space is good, and there are chargers back here, and there are vents. There are even more cubby holes, and genuinely, it is so well thought out for storage, it's unreal. The only slight issue is that if you have a bigger ISOFIX 360 spin seat, the seat in which it's behind needs to be slightly more forward. And that's only for if you're having your children in a rear seat position. The seat just needs a bit more space. The actual rear space here is really good, but depending on your front seat passenger may mean they need to squash themselves just a tiny bit. But for most normal people, that isn't an issue. The space is good, the space is well thought out. It's full of good, hard-wearing, sustainable materials. And if you sit in here just as a standard passenger, you have a good amount of headroom. It's well thought out. The boot itself is spacious, 460 litres of space. That's nothing to turn your nose up at. It's got an adjustable floor, so if you need to keep some stuff stored away, you can keep the boot height higher, keep stuff hidden away, happy days. You don't need it, don't need access that often, it's there. But if you need to put bigger things in, wider, bigger prams, car seats, anything, this boot is more than wide enough to take it and deep enough. It also gives you the option to give you some privacy. Now, originally, I was a little bit miffed that this doesn't actually completely go back to the seats, because I thought, well, someone can just kind of look in and see. But actually, because of the design of this C-pillar, you can't see in. So your stuff is protected. The boot space is good. It's a good height to get things in and out of. Well done, Kia. Now, the drive of the EV3 is extremely surprising, although really it shouldn't be, because it's Kia, so you knew it was going to be pretty good, but you didn't really anticipate it to be this good. So let's start with the fact that it's got 201 brake horsepower, 285 newton meters of torque. It will get you to 62 miles an hour in 7.9 and top out at 105. All pretty reasonable. Even better when you realise that this is a car which is completely able to average 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Therefore, that 81.4 kilowatt hour battery is giving you 375 miles of range, if not more. My best out of this was like 7 miles per kilowatt hour, and my worst has been 3.5. That's been sat with heat on full in traffic, not really moving much, and it still managed that. Pretty impressive. Now, the drive itself, steering's quite compliant. In sport, it feels really nice. Throttle response is interesting because it depends if you have it in standard mode or iPedal. Now, I like driving in iPedal mode around town because I personally feel like I get the best economy out of the car by doing so. But the throttle itself, when you don't have it in iPedal mode, is quite responsive. The brake pedal feel is very reasonable, and whilst it is ever so slightly EVE, not in a terrible way, nowhere near how they used to be, just doesn't feel like a conventional car entirely, just ever so slight. The suspension generally is very compliant and well suited to being a family vehicle. Slightly crashy over very undulating surfaces even, but generally good. The actual drive of this car is good, with 201 horsepower and 285 newton meters of torque, at least up to 35-40 miles an hour. It's pretty rapid. So whilst it's not going to bend your face, it's quick enough to get out at a tricky junction, and as a front wheel drive it puts that power down pretty well, to be fair. The technology that comes with this car as standard is very, very good. Your driver amenities are great and easy to reach and use, and as I've said earlier, actual buttons. So that's a big tick from me. The alert to tell you you've gone 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, even though you actually haven't, isn't in your face like it is in some brands. Looking at UMG, it just kind of gently reminds you, like, oh, slow down, mate, instead of headbutting you the second you go near the speed limit. The system is that of all Kia, and it's just a very good and easy to use, and the whole infotainment and design of the UI of everything is just great. The only thing that this doesn't have turned on at the moment is the speed camera alerts, which you can get, where it kind of has a doorbell and says, like, hello, you've just arrived at a speed camera, enjoy your speeding ticket. But no, actually, no speeding ticket, because the car's going to shout at you long before that. But at a junction just there, little window of opportunity, even in iPedal, very responsive to get out. And that's the main thing. This car is actually very nice to drive on longer journeys. It's great. Heated seats, very comfortable. The seats themselves, great for driving slightly more spiritedly. They hold you very, very well. So in general, the drive of this car is great. Well done, Kia. This could have been really half-arsed, but you didn't. And I guess that's why it's World Car of the Year 2025. So Kia have managed to make a car which is very, very, very good at everything, and actually it is very, very good at everything. From a family point of view, there's not much more than you could ask for than this EV. It is spacious, it is comfortable, it is frugal in economy, it is cost effective to own. So £33,000 for a smaller battery. So if you're not doing heavy miles on a regular basis, that's a no-brainer. Find yourself going for longer miles, and that 81.4 kilowatt hour battery with 375 miles of actual range is good. This fast charges, it drives well. 4 miles per kilowatt hour average. Well done, Kia. Probably wouldn't have sunset orange. I've seen one of these in like a basalt black. Really think that looks cool. It's an overall good and well thought out family car. This is once again proving that Kia not only know their customers, but understand the marketplace. This is perfect for the school run that you then take on to work, pick the kids up on the way back, and at the weekend you pack it full of stuff and drive most of the way across the continent if you wanted to. It's a usable amount of range, and it recharges extremely fast. So as a family score goes, 10 out of 10. Between £300 and £400 a month for one of these, depending if you go for lease or a PCP, depending on your deposit. It's a lot of car for the money. Well done, Kia.